This is the main spindle connector. It only goes in one other place, which hangs off the main spindle back here. These motor leads are DuPont connectors, regular header pins spaced 0.1 inches apart. Each connector has 8 slots, but only 4 of them are taken up. If you look in the motors, they have a similar orientation where they've got, 7 pins with the last one missing. So the way you can tell which direction to put this is the last pin that's missing goes with the slot in the connector that is missing a wire. Plug that back in so you can see what I'm talking about. See, this on the end has no wire going into it, and this one does. So that's how you know the connectors go in this orientation. If you turn the drivers on with the motors disconnected, it can blow the drivers, so you don't want to do that. So also, hold the connectors against the motors using zip ties, and I'll try to throw a few in the box if I remember. I just zip tie the cable onto the motor, and it does a real good job of keeping everything nice and tidy. I've labeled the axes, motors, and wires, but the labels will probably come off in the mail. Anyway, I'm going to take off the Z-column now. This whole thing right now, the motor and this guy ride on the Z-column. I'm going to take the whole Z-column off with these 4 screws. I'll try to leave the screws in this base back here, but then I'll probably take the base off of the, the Y-axis. Anyway, so this whole block is coming off. And I'm not going to video that, but those 4 screw holes go down there. Taking the head off. This is the head. This is, the spindle facing us. The head attaches right there. That big hole. This dowel goes in there. And then there's a screw here that you tighten. That'll grip on this piece right here and pull it all together. If you take out this key, you can angle the head at any angle. So this is the bottom of the machine. It's the Y-axis motor right here. These 2 big bolts hold on this guy that the Z-column attaches to. So I'm going to take that off with these 2 bolts. Okay, in order to get it in the box effectively, I'm going to leave the motor and the screw attached to the Z-axis, but I'm going to take off the actual, whatever you call that. So I'm going to undo this screw that binds this thing to the lead screw. Yeah, I'm going to slide this off and probably take this stud out. So, this is the X-axis, this is the Y-axis. I'm going to take off the X-axis and the little yoke guy here in between. This is the backlash adjustment screw. I'm going to loosen the backlash adjustment screw and take the little pawl here off of the little brass nut here. And then I'm going to turn the screw by hand like so and just feed it off the back end of the Z-axis. And then I'll probably take this whole motor bracket off of the Y-axis. Did I say Z-axis? I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to take this whole motor bracket off because it's kind of tall and I got to get it in a tiny box. Okay. It's the Y-axis. This is the little backlash adjustment nut. This is the pawl that goes with it up here. I'm going to just tighten that in so it doesn't go anywhere. I'll do that later. Anyway, this is the gib for the Y-axis. There's a screw here that holds on to this little 3mm shaft right here that's attached to the gib. I've loosened the gib so that I can freely slide the axis, and I ought to, if I had 2 hands, be able to just slide it right off of the Y-axis dovetail here. You get the point though. I'm going to slide this whole X-axis off of the Y-axis dovetails. Underneath there should be the yoke that connects the Y-axis and the X-axis screws. Yeah, I'll show that in a minute. Whoops, see that's why I'm showing you this. This is the Oldham coupler. This is what couples the motor shaft onto the lead screw. It goes right in here. There's little grooves on each side that are perpendicular to each other. I don't think it matters which way you orient it, but don't lose this piece or you can't connect your motor drive shaft to the lead screw. There's also one on the X-axis and there's also one on the Z-axis, but those don't have to come apart, I don't think, to get in the box. Anyway, don't lose this. I'm going to attach it to this motor shaft.